comment just on opening SEC play, then we'll go to questions.
Yeah, just excited to get back into conference play and to boot, not only being at home, but getting to play the #1 team in America. And personally, I'm a USA Today voter on the coaches poll, and really, as I look through everything and how things have moved, you know, week by week as we do as a voter, it was easy to put Ole Miss #1, and I was excited to do it with them coming to play our team. We just got to do everything we can to, you know, try to create an environment. We've worked on Operation Atmosphere, and it's been great. Spring break was a little slow, like it is all over the country, but our students are back in class. We're going to the fraternity houses tonight. And there's just a lot of things in play. I think we're playing on television tomorrow night. It's our chance to put our best foot forward. But even without all these neat pieces, we're so excited to get SEC play started off. We've been on the road. We've had some challenges. We feel like we've improved our pitching. We've gotten a lot of guys participating. This morning they asked me, what's the biggest difference in non-conference and starting SEC play? And everybody's got an answer or a thought to that. My difference is you can't play 37 guys in a weekend. You have to walk up there and hand your lineup in to that home plate umpire before the first game with only 27 names on it. And those are the only 27 you can use over the course of that 3-game series. That's been our biggest challenge with our coaching staff. We don't have to play a different game. You play the same. There's only one way to play, and that's the best baseball you know how to play. But that 27-man roster has been our biggest adjustment. But we're excited. I'm excited for our fans. I'm excited for our players and our staff. And this is kind of what we came here for, is to be able to play in series like this and to be able to start off conference play with an opponent like Ole Miss is exciting.
Butch, obviously they're #1 in the country, but what makes Ole Miss and so strong, and what is kind of their mantra under Mike, who's been there for, I feel like, 30 years?
Well, he's done an amazing job with the program. You know, I'm a Mississippi boy, so I grew up there, and then actually was a chief rival for 8 years. So I have seen the program in and out. I know what it was like before Mike Bianco got there, and I know what it's like now. And it's a proven program. Have great players, especially their lineup. They have older players. In my heart of hearts, they're 13-3, and we're 13-4. And we're pretty similar. Sometimes these rankings, especially to start a season, has more to do with what you've done in the past, or recently might even be the best way to put it. So, you know, will they be? I'm sure Mike's going to downplay #1. You know, he's going to be more interested. He's probably going to come out and say, I don't care where we're at in 8 weeks or 9 weeks from now down the road. I'm interested to see how big a gap there is between the Ole Miss Rebels and the Auburn Tigers, and we're going to find out. And you know, if we were coming off the 2019 season, where would we be ranked, and how good are we? I'm not sure we know all the answers to how good we are yet, but I'm looking for a great series. I expect a great series, and they're an older club that knows how to navigate. I still think they're trying to find some pitching pieces. They lost a lot of pitching, and they've done an amazing job. And I know they're set up, and I know they have talent from watching you know, preparing to play them. But I think we match up very well. I think our thing is just, most extra base hits are thrown, not hit.
Yeah.
Can we really throw some quality pitches up there and do better with the count? Those are our recent challenges. We played some physical clubs last week. And can we not throw the extra base hits and continue to play? For the most part, we played really good baseball. Can we get right back to that against a really good opponent? But I like our matchup, and I respect them, but Mike knows how to run a program. He learned from Skip Bertman, one of the greatest, and he has 2 amazing assistant coaches in Mike Clements and Carl Lafferty, and they do an amazing job. So they have really good talent. They have really great support. Their fans turn out. They have they're the one school since I've been here in 20 years that went from like laissez-faire fan base to looking like everybody else in the league, like a Mississippi State, like an Arkansas, like an LSU. Mike Bianco did that.
Yeah.
When you talk about pitching matchups and things like that, have you identified those 3 guys for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and who's going to take which days?
Yeah, it's a shift. You know, we really haven't been challenged all year. Whether you win or lose a ball game, we've been able to pitch who we want and set up like that, and people have survived pretty well. And we, you know, self-confidence was one of our two things. The other one was no excuses. And if you really file into the no excuses, and we're not going to talk about not having Sonny DeShera last week. We're not going to talk about Brooks Carlson still trying to find his way in, even though he's competing in every at-bat. So we're not making excuses. Jordan Armstrong's last two outings haven't been what we had seen him before. We actually did some work yesterday when we didn't get to play to kind of test him out and see where he's at for this weekend. And then you go wind up with the rain event pushing our entire week, and feel like it kind of thrown us off, but again, an excuse. We were supposed to play Tuesday, played Wednesday, supposed to play Saturday, wound up playing 2 on Sunday, and kind of a short week with us having to bounce back and go Thursday. So we thought the pitcher was best and most available and ready to go that's been throwing the ball good was Mason Barnett. And then our second guy that we think's thrown the best has been Trace Bright. But every one of these conference games count the same. These 30 games are not weighed any differently. So instead of shorting him 2 days after really throwing 90 or more pitches, we're going to short him 1 day and throw him on Saturday. So the void's Friday, to answer your question. And it could be Hayden Mullins because he didn't get to do that start. That's one I'm leaning to. And the right-handed version would be Jordan Armstrong. The fingernail deal with, you know, we did just play a series where we had 2 starts and got an inning and 2/3 out of the 2 starters. That's tough navigation. So it was good to have to go through some of that adversity and figure things out. But if Joseph, he can play catch, and we've been to one nail salon, I think we're going to another one trying to alleviate some pressure and stuff. But that's a pretty painful deal if you've ever had that. But having to perform and have to throw a ball 90+ miles per hour. So he can play catch, but we don't know if he can get on it. And if he can't get on it, we're probably going to give that time to heal, if that makes sense. So I think Thursday and Saturday set, and I think it's going to be a coach's decision as we get into that Thursday night game and see where they're set up, how you feel in the course of a ball game of whether we would start Mullins or Jordan Armstrong.
How is Sonny feeling?
I think he feels good. He reports feeling good, and I think it's like I wish we had a parachute like the funny cars. I think his biggest challenge is trying to stop. Once he gets going, I watched him pass the bag, and he kept going. I thought he was going to run over the tarp, and I'm like, Sonny, are you okay? Yes, sir. It's just hard to stop.
Yeah.
So it's not 100%, but he's above 80%, and it's somewhere. And I think it's just putting on the brakes. I think he can function and move, even wanting to put him back at first base, Brian, instead of DHing him.
Yeah.
We want to get him back to first base. But I don't think it's 100% either. But I think each day it's getting better dramatically. So all our x-rays and stuff were negative. We got him back in there and hit. And that's why I want him back in there, is because, you know, it just, hitting's an everyday type skill. If you don't hit every day, and if you're off just that much, you're off. You're out. You're mishitting. So we think he's important to get him back at first base, and we think he's going to keep improving every day and be able to put the brakes on once he gets moving.
Yeah. There's been some talk and conversation about some of the first innings for the pitchers and some of the struggles they've had in the first compared to the rest. Is that something that y'all have talked about internally and trying to identify a reason why it seems like a little slow out of the gate pitching-wise in the first inning?
Yeah, I think it's just an adjustment. I still, you know, I'm counting 14 out of 17 acceptable first inning starts. So when I'm at a heavy majority that way, I'm not as concerned. I'm more concerned about Jordan Armstrong resetting his stuff, because it's been recent and he's throwing some of our best baseball. I think of the Yale start. I think about, he did come in the second inning of the Oklahoma game as a reliever to kind of help Tommy Sheehan. Jordan's been my biggest challenge because he was throwing so well, and then we had a couple of starts he didn't. I totally understand Tommy Sheehan having, you know, a procedure 11 months ago. We knew that was kind of going to be a challenge, and that's why Jordan was so ready to come in that first game. We're aware of that. Joseph that's kind of a freak deal, and when I got 14 out of 17, I'm still interested, can we handle the back end? And I believe in Blake Burkhalter. But if he's not available, and I only gave him to our team 1 inning the other day, and we wound up not being able to get it done, I'm more interested in about next man up after Blake Burkhalter. But I do believe in all these guys. I believe in Joseph. I'm feeling the worst for him, but if he's not 100%, we can't put him. I think it's more about getting the fingernail figured out, getting Jordan. We actually threw him to 4 hitters yesterday. I just wanted him and myself to feel good about that he's got his stuff reset. And we did a couple of things physically. I felt like his slide had lowered a little bit, and now he's throwing on the same plane or up or missing hind arm side. So we got his feet underneath him, and we got the slot back up. We reverted back. This is his first year, so we reverted back to Chattahoochee Valley to seeing that slot was a little bit higher. Now I think we can get back on top of the baseball and sink it a little bit. So he's not a big, strong, physical type dude. So hopefully this adjustment helps him. I would rather use Mullins in a starting deal as opposed to relief. We've tried that a couple of times. We're just trying to learn from where everybody functions the best. But I'm not concerned because I think we have options. I still got a Carson Skipper that we trained this whole time as a starter. Shoulder was a little slow, got 2 weeks behind these guys, so he didn't earn a spot. Now we feel like he's close to back to 100%, and we think his best role is like a piggybacker along relief behind one of these starters. But I think it would take a lot more before me get concerned about the starts because we have enough guys available. It's just unfortunate that something would pop up like that for Joseph, and really Jordan just didn't throw the ball good for a couple of starts, and he needs to reset. That would be the one area where I'm looking at, like, I can change and adjust on some of these others. Getting Jordan going is important because I think he's a huge piece. These first 4 weeks of college baseball, I've never seen the changeup seem like such a powerful pitch, and he possesses arguably one of our best. If I feel that way, sometimes it's been the slider or it's been the elevated fastball that you've seen has really come into play. The power of the changeup has been huge, and he possesses one of our best. I want him to get right back on track.
Last one from me real quick is Jake Wyatt seems like he's playing more at catcher now than Ryan Dial is, and Ryan's been in left quite a bit, and he's looked good out there. Are the plans when you go on the road and you don't necessarily have a shorter left field with the monster out there, is the plan to still have Ryan in left a couple days a weekend?
It's a great question, and I think the world's tired of hearing I don't know. I think we're tired of hearing that answer, so you deserve a better one than that. Jake Wyatt, I think he makes the person in front of him better. I think he's into every pitch. I think he's encouraging. I think he's a coach on the field, just like Brody Moore at shortstop is, just like Casey Howell is in center field. To do the most damage, we want to put our best hitters out there. We think we're going to change in and out more than we have in years past. We think we have more depth to bring in a Josh Hall to play defense. But we might be more interested in the first 3 at-bats of a game and hope that with the wall and here at home that we can play. But I hope we can do it both ways. So we want Ryan Dials bad in the lineup, and I love what Jake Wyatt brings to us. And really, it felt like it got to a scouting report deal where if Ryan was catching, they were running. To be honest with you, that's another piece of it. And things can change in 3 weeks, you know. If somebody gets banged up or something, but I think our best team is still having Dials and Pat in the lineup somewhere, and having Wyatt running our pitchers right now. And does that travel? I don't know. We'll probably travel. We'll try it. The monster here might give us some positives, but you know, our best team's our best team, depending on where we're playing. But those are the things that we're talking about a whole lot. You know, the other's left on left. If he's actually one of our best hitters, well, we're going to see a lefty. We think Cam Hill's really held up better left on left, and we know Ryan can do it, but it's been slow if you look at the breakdowns. But if he's one of our 9 best hitters, do we try it? And we think he'll keep getting better out there. And I'm not saying he won't catch a game this weekend, but I want him to start holding up and coming and getting the ball a little bit more, where we can. It makes our team better if he can play in the outfield, whether we're at home or on the road potentially, or whatever we're doing right now. So I want to keep doing it, and I want him to hold up better and better. and I want us to get, can we get Dial in there? Can we get Brooks Carlson and Sonny DeShera? It hadn't even happened yet.
Yeah.
I still don't think we've seen the version of our best team. Can we get arguably 2 of our 4 best hitters in the game all the time? So Brooks Carlson, you could see him in left field. I just don't know if you're going to see him late. If you got a lead and it's late. But I want us to be able to do damage, and I want our best hitters in there. And I've put that forth to our coaches to make that happen for us. But as a pitching guy, historically, I want to dominate the routine play. That's really important. So there's a give and take, and there's actually a stretch. I don't want us to be scared of calculated risk this year. And I want us to have as many threats in that lineup as we possibly can. And we will have to score. If you ask me what one of the keys of victory of Ole Miss, we will need to score. And if we just come out and play pitching and defense, will we score enough? Man, that's the old baseball adage that everybody sits there and thinks about. I think we'll have to score because that's absolutely the strength of their ball club, and they got a bunch of 23, 24-year-olds and guys that have played the game at a high level. They walk as much as they strike out. So we're going to have to be in the zone pitching. We're going to have to make quality pitches, not be scared of anything, but we just can't flip get me over stuff to a veteran lineup like this. So I want to create more offense if we can. And I want Brooks Carlson and Sonny DeShera and Ryan Dial and Cam Hill and Rambush and Howell and Ware going. I want them all in there. Right now, I think the only thing where I'm thinking defense first, maybe to start a game, is with Jake Wyatt.